So we've been working on properties for logarithms, and we have the 4 basic properties. And we'll go over these again, but I'm going to write them just because we need to remember these properties. Okay, so if you have log, and it can be any base, of 1, that just equals 0. And if you have log base b, any base, and the argument is the same, that equals 1. And those are really important ones. Then you have log base b, b to the x, which just equals x. That one we use a lot, so just remember these first 3, okay? But this one especially, I would say, because I think it comes up a lot. And then we have b to the log base b of x, that also equals just x. Remember, these are called the inverse properties. Okay, so in this section, we're going to cover 4 more properties, and then that's going to be it for how many properties we have. So we're going to start with the product rule. So the product rule is based on what we know about exponents. If you have b to the m times b to the n, then we have a rule that says, hey, if I'm multiplying and the bases are the same, I can add the exponents. So b to the m plus n. That's what it becomes. Now remember, logarithms are exponents, okay? All right, so here's the rule. And I put this box in because I wanted to go through the wording with you. Let b, the base, and this is a capital M and a capital N, they're all positive real numbers, okay? And b doesn't equal 1. Okay, so they have to be greater than 0, and they're real numbers. Then if you have some multiplication going on here, it's the logarithm of a base, some base, and in the argument, remember this is called an argument. It's what you're taking the function of. Okay, so we've seen that word before with functions. So it's what you're taking the function of. You're taking the logarithm of something. Okay, if you're taking the logarithm of 2 things being multiplied together, you can split it up into separate logarithms. So the base stays the same. They're both base b, but it's log base b, log base b of m plus log base b of n. So the logarithm of a product is the sum of the logarithms. You split it up. We call this process expanding a logarithmic expression. Now, the next 2 properties we go over will also be helping us to expand a logarithm expression. So get used to this wording because there are questions where we say, hey, we want you to expand the logarithm. And by expanding, they are meaning pulling it apart into these individual logarithms that are not as complex. Okay. So that was a lot of words. So how do you use it, right? You got to know how to use the property. Whoops, sorry. So here we go. Use the product rule to expand each logarithmic expression. It means we're going to pull it apart. So you see the multiplication here in the argument, 7 times 5. So we pull it apart. We say log base 4, because you got to keep the base the same, of 7 plus log base 4 of 5. And it's just that simple. You're just pulling it apart. Now, if you want to put parentheses here, I'm okay with that. I'm going to leave that up to you. The book doesn't put them in, so I probably won't, but I like them anyway. All right. So you would look to see, hey, could I simplify either of those logarithms? No, we can't. We don't have enough tools yet to get approximations. We'll do that at the end of this section, but for now, it's just in terms of logarithm. It's an exact answer, and it's great. Okay, it's expanded. Is it better than this form? Is it more simple? No, it's just different. Okay. All right, so now we're going to do the same thing here. You have the argument. You see the multiplication, 10 times x. So we have log. Now this is a common log. There's no base down here, so that means it's a common log. 10 plus log of x. Okay, so that's how it pulls apart using the product rule. But because it's a common log, there is some simplifying we can do here. So do you remember common logs have a base 10? You don't see the base written, but there's really a little 10 right there. Okay, you just can't see it because we don't write it. It's a common log. So because this is log base 10 of 10. So you're thinking this. Okay, that's your thinking cloud. That is a property. So you go up to those basic properties I told you and find it. It's property 2. Okay, this equals 1. So we simplify it to 1 plus, and then we can't do any simplifying here, so we just put log of x. It is a common log, but we just write log of x. All right, so that is how we expand a logarithmic expression using the product rule. We simplify if we can, and how do we simplify? We have those basic properties up here that we went over, okay? So we got to learn the properties. Remember, there's going to be a total of 8 properties. We've done 4 from the last section, 4.2. We're going to get 4 more in this section, and that's logarithms, okay? All right. Okay, so we'll talk more about another property in the next video.